Okay, I don't know what just happened there. I started bumping the camera and it just started doing its own little auto focusing act on me. Okay, this thing's slipping off nicely now. There it is. It just pops right off. All right, so it's got that little pin in it that lines up with the grooves right in there. Put that in a little parts bucket. Now I'm going to use some of my Wonder Lube. Okay, this is some lubricant that is new to me. It's actually penetrating oil. It's not like a water displacement thing like PB Blaster or WD-40. This stuff is actually penetrant. So I'm going to get back on the back side of this where it meets the metal. See if I can show you where that is. Hopefully you can see it right down in here. I'm going to be squirting right onto that thing right there. You might be able to see. Just to get some of that juice down inside of there. Let it just kind of sit for a few seconds. This stuff really gets in the nooks and crannies. Unlike the WD, PB Blaster, or whatnot, they're more water displacement. Like I said, this stuff is actually penetrant, so it's going to get deep into there. Let me get vice grips so I can get a good hold on this. And we'll start yanking. Yanking and banking. Here we go. All right. Give it a little wiggle. Give a little pull. I'm sure it's going to need quite a bit of pulling on it. Okay, so I'm just going to keep pulling, messing around. Let me pause this. Hopefully you can see this. I'm right down in here on the back side of this, and I'm just found something to put a little leverage on it right here. You see that? I hope so. And I'm wiggling it on the outside and prying from the back. There it is. And that's off. Just put that in a little parts bucket. Didn't make it. I'll find it. It's nice and red. Okay, should be easy to find. Where is that thing? It's over there someplace. Okay, now this thing should be ready to kind of pull off. Now we got a bunch of wires and crap that are, is anything else holding this up? Something seems to be holding this up. Got another screw. Okay, here's another 10 mil right here, holding on to something right here. That's probably got to come out. So let's see what's going on with that. Let's see if that lets anything loose. Probably didn't even need to take that off. Okay. And we're just keeping a note of where everything is. Okay, I don't see what's holding this on here. Okay, it looks like it's just the breather tube right here. Yeah, right here. So I'm going to put a little juice on that. I always like to put a little juice on these things first. Okay. And then work them loose. Okay, so we're going to work this off here. I'm going to get this clip. It will no longer be used. Sorry to say. If I can get it. Now I can't get a hold of it. There it is. Maybe I can pull it off of there, yeah. Okay, get that. These things, they're just kind of a pain. Okay, get that. Slide that back. Now let's see if we can pull this off of here. nice and easy. Might have to, yeah, there we go. I think that's all that's holding this thing on. This whole assembly. Let's see if that worked. Okay. Something else is holding this thing on. Let's see. I don't know what it is. There is something else holding that down there, it seems. Okay, I'm just going to take those 2 screws off of the other side there. I think that's what's holding. Might be all that's holding it up. Let's see. Right down here. I think, yeah, I think this is. Careful, these want to strip. Yeah, here's that little tang. Now, come back over here. Let's see if we can get this off now. Does that help any? Still something, huh? Still something holding that up. Nope, that's it. That was it. It's this wire. Okay, so now we gotta make sure that this wire for the on-off button switch thing, this wire is kind of holding it up. It's jammed up underneath this right here, so it's routed up underneath here. So we'll remember where that goes. It's about the only thing keeping it from just like coming straight off there. There we go. So if we can keep this all in one piece now and not reroute any of those wires, let's flip this over just so we can get access to the carburetor. Let's see if we can do that without messing anything up. I try to do minimal part removal. Okay, we got this gasket here. So that's between this and the carburetor. Put that in the parts bin. That's it. That's really just that wire that is giving us some grief right now. If I could just flip this over somehow, I can't really rotate it. Can I rotate it like this? No. Might have to take that off. Okay, so we got this wire back here. That should come loose pretty easy down there. And we got this. Just give me some slack. I just need some slack. Will that do it? Yeah. I think that's all that's holding it. Oh, got that primer line. That's what it is. Yeah. So right here, got a primer line that is plugged into the carburetor there. We'll pull that off. And it should let loose. There we go. And now, you flip all this stuff over, give us access better to the carburetor. There we go. Let's flip this all over here. Okay. Everything's going back pretty simple. Okay, and then we have this. We'll make note of how all this linkage is set up right here. Okay. So we just got this right here. We'll be pulling this off if it'll let us. All right. Yeah, we'll just try not to lose any of that. Put it in the parts bin. Looks like this ain't going nowhere. Well, yeah. So that's how that goes back on there eventually through there. hook it up, then hook up your bracket thing. Okay, now the actual fuel line, we'll probably go ahead and drain this gas and take a look at it. And we'll take a look inside the gas tank to see how rusty it is. So let me get a little spray juice on this. Okay. Get my pliers up in here to rotate this around if it'll let me, and kind of start going from there. Where are the tangs on this thing? Gotta find the tangs. Hootie tang. It's like it's only got one. Yeah, one of them's busted off, it looks like. Come on. Come around here. Yeah, I'm going to try to rotate this over a little bit. There it is. There's the other tang thing. Okay, there it is. It was hiding on me. Let's see. Still seeing everything here? Kind of. Right over there? Yeah. All right. Get this. Back it off. Okay. Okay, my parts container has now become my fuel receptacle. We're going to drain out this carburetor and get to it. I'm going to clean this parts bin out real good. I like the yellow so we can kind of see what's really happening with that gas. Get it as clean as I can. Blow it out. Get the debris out so we can see what's coming out of the gas tank. All right, let's see. All right, blow that out. Okay, nice and clean. A little bit of debris. And then I've got my tube that semi-transparent, semi-flexible, depending on how warm it is outside. It's a little cool today. A little cool on this fall day here in Missouri. All right, and as I start taking this off, right here, I start taking that off, and I'll stick this tube on there real quick. I try not to pinch these lines at all. I'm gonna lose a little fuel on the ground, but I try not to pinch it off because that's just gonna mean probably fuel line replacement. And while I'm taking it off anyway, I should probably replace it. I mean, it's probably old. Let me get and I do like starting these things with a big screwdriver if I can, just to kind of get them thinking about coming loose. I always like to try to do this if it's convenient. Just get that screwdriver on there and just start pushing it off. Just get it almost all the way off and then finish it up with the pliers. And I have my tube ready. Okay, got my tube ready. I have pinched it off a little bit, but that fits right in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and drain my fuel out. Okay, trying to get it all in this little gas container down there. My receiving bucket. Draining out nicely. The wind's blowing, so I'm getting it all over the place. Don't light a match. I'm going to get all that out of there. Let me see if I'm removing the tank cap right now. Let's see if that increases the fuel flow any. Okay, tighten the tank lid. Nope. Loosen it. Any better flow? Not necessarily. So the tank cap, we know, then is vented. We'll just go ahead and drain all this stuff out. Then we'll take a peek inside of that gas tank. I'm looking right now, and it looks super clean. So we're just going to take this and drain the fuel out. We'll use whatever. We'll reuse it, making sure we don't put any debris back in there. I think we just got a little grass blown in there just during the last minute or so. It's from the wind. Okay, that's about out of gas now. That's good. Then we can start kind of focusing on taking the carburetor off. So now we've got the little spring that goes in the little hole on the throttle plate there. Okay, and then you got to turn this as far as you can this way, like this way to the right, to line up the slot there. Because if you don't, it won't come out. So you get that slot lined up and pull it straight up, and then here comes your carburetor. It's nice that we don't have to pull these studs. I got another video on that I'll try to attach to this video right now to show you how to take these out. I mean, you can get a vice grip, you know, and that works pretty good actually. Just loosen it up with some penetrant on those holes and go for it. Okay, so yeah, this is looking pretty crusty, and yeah, real rusty on the bowl bottom. So I'm just going to drain out whatever's in here into my fuel bucket. I'll shake it off a little bit. I just shook a bunch of rust dirt down into that. Yeah, the stuff that's inside of the carburetor when I'm putting it into the main fuel receptacle there, it's like yellow. So I'll just not do that because I want to reuse that fuel. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this off right here. Start taking this apart. Okay. So carburetors have a lot of small parts, and you want to make sure not to lose them. So I'm going to do a quick carb rebuild right here on this towel. It'll help catch all my parts. We're going to start off with a 10 millimeter socket right here. All that nastiness is coming out already. Definitely contaminated carburetor, but that'll be fixed here shortly. Okay, yeah, got a bunch of goo and nastiness right here. You can see it's not bad. It's not bad. A little tarnished. Pin is nice and loose. Take this off. I like blowing in here. Wipe it off first to make sure that it flows freely. And then I'll just take and probably pull this screw out. There's a flathead screw down in there, and I got a screwdriver that fits just perfectly down in there. Before I even try it, definitely use this spray or some kind of whatever you got to let that soak for just a few minutes, and that's going to help you big time, because if you screw that up, what you're taking out is the main jet, and then back behind there is the emulsion tube. If you screw that up, screw head for the main jet, you can almost just scrap the carburetor. So let me get the right size screwdriver for this. Okay guys, here's the deal. I use this for all of these carburetor jets. I mean, like 99.99% of these, and I'm measuring this for you to show you. I'll read that for you. It is right on, if you're reading standard, it's right on the 3/16 width, okay, of the blade from here to here, okay, 3/16 inch, or equivalent to millimeters. Let's see if I can get that back on there. Now, this is nice to know, okay? So find yourself, if you're doing this stuff a lot, you're going to rebuilding carburetors, which is very simple, okay? And this is like 9 times out of 10, this is going to be your problem, is what I'm doing right here. Okay, so on the millimeter side, it is actually 5 millimeters right there. There's 10 millimeters, half of that's 5. So 5 millimeters on the width of the blade. And then if you want to get real precise on here, it's like about 2 millimeters. Actually, going the thickness of the blade is exactly 2 millimeters, or 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so you're looking at 5 millimeters wide by like 2 millimeters. It looks like, no, actually 1. Yeah, it's right on the 1 millimeter. So 1 millimeter by 5 millimeters going that way. Okay, now if that helps you out, please leave me a like, subscribe, because if you don't get the right screwdriver flathead size going into here, it's easy to booger it up. Now here's what you do. You get in there, you get into that flat, make sure you're in there good, grab onto the body of the carburetor really tight, okay? Push down, use a lot of force down force, not twisting it. When you got all that down force, twist. Okay, this doesn't want to turn. All right, so that's why it's so important to have the right size. Okay, so we're going to let that penetrant do its thing for a little while longer. See if we can save this carburetor. And then if this doesn't work, I mean, it's like all we can do is spray this out, make sure the jet is clear. And I can actually do that right now. I sprayed some stuff in here, so I'm going to wipe it off. I'm going to try to blow through this to see. Yeah, that jet is not clear. Okay, so got to take that out, got to clean it out now. I can, if I need to, get a skinny wire just to go down through that jet to clean that main jet hole out. But behind this, down in here, is what's called the emulsion tube. That thing, it might have from 6 to 12, 15 little micro holes in that tube underneath there. That also comes out. It's a brass tube. The main jet's brass. And then below that, actually on top of it, is the emulsion tube. That's where all those small little passages are, little holes that need to be cleared out too, or this is going to run 100%. So anyway, okay, so we got that. Another squirt down in there. Let's see if I can get this. Sometimes I'll put it in a vise, and that's going to be my next step here. If I can't get this by hand, I will secure this into a vise so I'm not squeezing on anything. Make sure this butterfly valve's closed. Does this even work? Yeah, this thing's like, oh, okay, it does. It was all the way open. But I'll close it for this if I'm going to put it in a vise. So I can grab it here with the vise, and then I put vise grips on my screwdriver. I get a really good solid, okay, get it in there, and then I just, boy, that sure doesn't want to go. So I'm going to put this in a vise, try to get this main jet out. It's being a challenge. Okay, as soon as I clamp this down in a vise and put some vise grips on the screwdriver, I got it in the slot and it broke. I was just on the edge of getting it by hand. It wasn't too terrible. Okay, so now this is coming out. I'll show you what this main jet looks like, what you're looking for, how to clean out this emulsion tube, whatnot. But it just feels funky in there. Okay, let's get this out. It's definitely loose. And you give it a couple taps. Try to help it. It's kind of jammed up in there. It'll come out, I hope. There it is. Get it on the flat. Sometimes holding it upside down might help get it to start falling out. There it is. Okay, came out. Yep, and be careful. A lot of small parts. So here we go. Here's so it goes like this. You got the carburetor here, bottom of it, and the emulsion tube here. The stem part right here that is actually up in the throat of the carburetor inside goes first, like that. And then once that's in there, the main jet goes on top of that with the slotted head on it right there. Okay, so this is stopped up. Let's see. I'm going to try to blow on this again, wipe it off a little bit. It's completely blocked. That's like 90% of the problems with most of these carburetors that you work on. All right, and then the emulsion tube. See these little micro holes? You may or may not be able to see them on there. Hopefully that's focusing. And so all of those little holes, let's see how many we got. There's 5 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 on that side. There's 7 there. 6 on that. So what is that? Is that like 42 holes? That's just a ton of holes. So there's 7. That's 14 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 26 holes. And you got to take a little baby wire brush. I mean, a small one, like from a wire brush. You got to take a little piece off, hit every one of those holes, and make sure that it's clear. All of those holes have to be clear. And then you stick a wire through that too, and you make sure that it's nice and clear. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Don't need to demonstrate it, but that's what you got to do. Okay, maybe I will demonstrate a little bit. Okay, so I got this old wire brush laying around like this. I'm going to take and grab one of the little wires on it and snip it right down by the base. And so I got this little wire right here. Little baby, tiny. And I'm going to try to poke now through this main jet. See, okay, didn't take much. And I'll put it back in there and mush it around a little bit, turn it around, get it going. Get it nice and clean, and then I'll blow that out with some compressed air. And let me check these holes here to make sure that you can also hold this up to the light and see if you can count all 5 holes showing light through them or not, or 6 holes, however many holes you got. I'm sure at least a couple of these things are clogged up, because this thing was pretty varnished up pretty good. Okay, let me get this side. As I'm going through, I'm getting a hole on the other side as well. It's going straight through. Hopefully this is showing up on camera good. And I got a lot of glare looking at the camera from this angle. And get that. Maybe take a small wire brush to the exterior of this thing and get the varnish off. Now I'm kind of looking through here, and I'm looking to make sure I got daylight through all of these holes as I'm turning it around. Yep, they're all looking nice and clean now. I can see through all those holes to the other side. The main jet's good. Then I'll just give it a final blow with, make sure not to blow this across the driveway or whatever. Okay, then this same screwdriver right here is good for getting this out. Make note of how far it's sticking out on the back side here. Okay, this throttle stopper. Take this out. And then once the thing below it is out, I don't even know what it is called, but that down on the ground. And then you can just pry this up and out. Sometimes there's a passage that goes through. You can blow on it and then try to get that wire. See if I can find that wire. Wow, I can actually find that wire on the ground there where I dropped it on some concrete. Okay, I just had it and I lost it. Okay, there it is. There you go, I'm picking it up. Now I take this and I'll shove it down in here and see if it'll go through. Okay. Okay. It actually was clogged up. Some of these don't go through. But if you can get that little wire to go and poke through like it just did, you cleaned it out, you did well. Okay. Some of them are not meant to have a hole going through there, okay? They're just blocked off. I wasn't able to blow through it a second ago. Now I can because I unclogged it. And then all you got to do is grab your carburetor, final stuff. I like blowing this way down into the seat. I don't like blowing through this way because you might, if you have like a soft seat in there, you might just blow it out. So I just like getting in there like that and blowing it the opposite direction. And I'll take and try to blow on this, and that's good. Making sure I got clear flow or good flow. Just blowing it. Now I'll blow down in here a little bit. Clear that out. Any of these holes right here. Right here and here. All right, time to put it back together. It's always nice when that jet comes out. Sometimes they don't wanna. All right, I'm gonna open this back up because that's where it was when I took it apart. Okay, getting this piece back in there. The way it came out. Okay. I'm gonna put that right back in there. Screw it in. The same screwdriver does well to sometimes you might have one that's got Phillips head, whatever. Okay, and then we're going to turn this in until we get about the same amount that we had before we took it apart. That looks good. And we'll get our needle back in there. It looks pretty clean. I'm just going to wipe it off a little bit. Need debris. It's got a little debris on it. And I just wipe this off with my fingers. I don't even take. I use carburetor cleaner. I do not like using carburetor cleaner on carburetor parts. This is a soft, rubbery tip right here. You get enough carburetor cleaner on there and you let it sit, it's just going to start destroying it. So only use carburetor cleaner on all metal parts of the carburetor. Make sure it doesn't come in contact with like the seals and stuff, anything rubber. Don't let carburetor cleaner touch it. You're going to ruin it. It'll expand. It won't seal anymore. And you'll not be happy. Okay, so this right here, probably just going to wipe it out. And hit it with a little carburetor cleaner. All metal, right? There we go. Brake clean, whatever. Put a little in there. Wipe it around. It's not bad. It's a little corroded in there. Just making sure there's no debris in it. Should be good to go. That's pretty good. Could probably wire brush it off. Okay, making sure there's no junk on the float. No debris. Debris free. Okay. Now what I found that putting this back together, which way does it go? Usually you want to put the little drain plug opposite the inlet side of the carburetor. So it goes like this. And then get your cap or your plug back on. Just about ready to put it back together. Okay, I'm ready to put that carburetor back on there, and I'll do that in the reverse order that I took it all apart, and I'll turn the camera back on when I'm ready to start this thing up. All right, I got that gas back in there, made sure no debris got in there with it. And on a lot of these snowblowers, for some reason, I guess people using snowblowers don't like the pull start things. It's got a pull start, but it's also got an area, a lot of them have the pigtail extension cord, whatever. You can just put a three-prong female end of an extension cord right in there, and just go for it. Why pull it if you don't have to? So now we're going to go for starting it up.